Is volume on TV all the way down?
Mm-hmm. We're just gonna read some Bill Ted quotes. You can be
Mr. Genghis Khan.
you can be Bill or Ted, and I'll be the other one. And we'll just do that. Okay. All right. Not gonna be a train wreck. It's not gonna be a train wreck. It's not gonna be a train wreck.
Really?
Shut up. Hold on. Can you put the left one on us real quick so I can cover up my bald spot?
If I do, since we're live, it's going to stream it.
No, because it's in studio mode.
Let me try this one then. Windowed.
You do know how this works, right? Yeah,
Let's
I'm
go
good.
back.
I'm good. That's good. That's good.
Wait, let me cover up my bald spot.
Oh, let me get a tarp.
It's actually pretty good. Do we need this since we've got this?
No, we don't need that.
Oh my god, it's right in the middle of everything. Christ.
Whatever. Okay.
Let's try to do this on my lap.
Did you mute us?
The black screen is already, there's no audio on black screen.
Hold on, I gotta fart. Oh, come on, just do it.
Ready?
Oh god, this is gonna be bad.
It is.
Welcome to This Week at Four Horsemen, where we are on the legendary Federation ship, the Voyager. I am the ship's morale officer, Rylix. And this is our science officer on the bridge. This is Ensign Ronnie Kim.
I'll go with that.
You good? You good with that?
That's a good one.
Okay. So, Mr. Kim.
Yes?
Hold on. Mr. Kim. Sorry. What is This Week at Four Horsemen?
Four Horsemen is our weekly show where we're going to be talking about some sales, some promotions, and other nerdy topics in and around the area.
Yes, and we're going to start off this episode with a giveaway. And the theme of April is read comics. If you don't read comics, start. Get into it. We're going to help you.
Read all the comics.
Yes. This week's top 10 is going to be the top 10 comics to get you into comics. Yep. And if you guess what our number one is, or even who the character featured in our number one person is, you're going to win a $25 gift card. To guess, just comment in the Facebook chat now. We are falling apart without Alex.
Alex, please come back.
Alex, please come back. We're falling apart without you. So, guess what our number one comic is on that top 10. You have from here till now to do that. Do it in the Facebook chat. If you're watching on Twitch or YouTube, hop on over to Facebook. Boom, boom, boom. Guess who that is.
Very good.
All right, let's jump into comics.
Comics.
All right, so our first one is a new book from Image. It's called Analog. This takes place in the future where the security on the internet is completely destroyed. Might be.
I think that's pretty
yeah,
accurate.
we're getting there. But anyways, people can no longer transfer their personal information over the internet. So there's this new class of worker that's come around, and they're called the Ledgermen. And this is telling the story of a man named McGinnis who has to transport people's personal information in a suitcase handcuffed to his arm. Didn't Alex used to do this?
Yeah, pretty much. But wasn't there a movie Johnny Mnemonic?
Maybe.
It's Keanu Reeves. I think that's what he did. They like plugged in a bunch of stuff in his head.
If it's not Bill and Ted, I don't. It's like number three. Yeah, this book looks cool. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. And something you might have heard of, The Walking Dead.
This little thing.
Yeah. We're deep in our New World Order story where we're in this new community that is just like turning all the rules of this world upside down. You might say it's a New World Order. So Walking Dead's good right now. You should be reading it. Yeah, more on that later. And we have this new book, Isola.
I don't know too much about this book. I know there's a lot of people talking about it.
So. I read the description of it, and honestly, it sounds like kind of a generic story, but I also flipped through the first issue, and it's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
So, a new book from Image to look out for.
Yeah. All right.
Moving over to Marvel, what do we got?
We also got some Venom action coming out this week. Some Venomized #1. It's a 5-issue run. It's new this week. Venom's one of my favorite villain slash hero slash whatever the heck he wants to be.
Parasite.
Symbiote.
Yeah.
Parasite.
He's pretty much Parasite.
He's pretty parasitic.
Yeah. And then we also have the new issue of Star Wars, where the rebellion is still trying to liberate Mon Cala. C-3PO is taking the center stage. Yes.
Get them fish.
C-3PO, baby.
Look at those big, beautiful fish heads.
I'm too busy looking at C-3PO. Or maybe you may not have recognized him. He has a silver leg.
He does have a silver leg this time.
Yeah.
Where's that red arm?
Yeah, that's a wee bit later.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our staff pick. Yeah. This staff pick is Cowboy Bebop.
Yes.
And you're asking me, Ryan, why you recommend people watch Cowboy Bebop? Everybody's seen Cowboy Bebop. It's like most people have seen Cowboy Bebop. Why are you talking about this? We know. Well, the truth is today is the 20th anniversary of Cowboy Bebop's first air date. So, happy birthday, Cowboy Bebop.
It's an old cowboy.
Came out April 3rd, 1998, first premiered on Japanese television. So,
what's the general premise for a layman such as myself?
That's the thing. It's an episodic show, and there's no like actual plot. You could watch them in almost any order, and it wouldn't matter. But the premise is that these 4 people are bounty hunters, and they take down bounties.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, and so the guy to the left, his Spike, and he has kind of a checkered past, and kind of throughout the 26 episodes, you get a little blurbs about his past that comes to like fruition in the last 2 episodes where there is actually like some payoff on that.
Oh, okay.
But for the most part, it's a lot like the original Trek series where it's just
encapsulated stories. Yeah,
and it's why it's so highly renowned is because of its great mix of action and comedy, and how this brilliant music by Yoko Kanno is just blended into it so seamlessly.
That's actually one of the things that I've heard about. Because like I said, I've not seen it, but I've heard the music is
you need to watch it.
Pretty integral.
And if you're not into anime, this is an anime that is generally appealing to people who are outside of that fandom. So check out Cowboy Bebop, and also Happy B-Day.
Should we sing Happy Birthday?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Spike, Jet, Faye, Ed, and I.
Cowboy Bebop.
Happy birthday to you. Woo! One more year and you can drink. All right, moving on to the Four Horsemen Versus series. Last week, we had deduced on the show that this was a shutout.
Yeah.
Because Inuyasha has the demon-killing blade, and he has the fire-resistant robes. It was close.
Was it really?
Inuyasha won by a single vote across all 3 platforms.
Twitter? Oh, no, across all 3. Okay.
Ifrit won on Twitter, and Inuyasha won on the other 2. Combined votes, Inuyasha won. So we will see him in round 2.
Yep.
Our best comment was by
Mr. Truby Turner. He's also
Mr.
Turner of Dice Masters fame. Truby says, I have no love for Inuyasha, but considering the angsty pretty boys of the Final Fantasy series routinely beat Ifrit and whip him into submission, I imagine just about anyone with a sword or mildly sharp butter knife could win a fight against him. The question is, can Inuyasha summon him against his opponent next round?
So Ifrit is like a summon spell, and in Final Fantasy games you summon him and he fights on your behalf. So in round 2, should Inuyasha be able to summon Ifrit?
Ooh, that would actually be kind of interesting. Yeah.
Well, we'll take that into consideration.
Yeah.
All right, this week we have, which should be an interesting one, we have X-23 Laura Kinney versus Uzumaki Naruto.
I've got to back 23.
I wanna say X-23.
Yeah.
But there's a power difference here because Naruto has like all these ridiculous OP anime things that he can do, and I want Laura to win.
Yeah.
But then there's that old Wolverine argument where he can beat anybody because he can't die. Yeah. So. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I need to back 23 just because of who she is and her lineage, parentage. How does that even work?
And Naruto can turn into a giant fox. So I just want to see this fox Wolverine battle.
Hybrid.
Yeah, it's a real animal fight.
Lots of
Yeah.
claws.
All right, but we will find out next week who takes home this bacon.
All right.
All right, moving on. We got some images, or we got our weekly event schedule for this week. This is everything we've got going on at Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming. You will notice the return of Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments this Sunday at 1 o'clock. Yay! For more details on any of these, please go to facebook.com/4horsemencomics and click on the event tab.
Cool.
All right.
We also had some pictures from last week.
Yes.
All right. So we got some Dragon Ball Z happening on Saturday.
Dragon Ball Super.
Dragon Ball Super every Saturday. Actually, we started doing the Dragon Ball fighting games on Monday as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the inaugural event last Monday. So that's going to be a regular.
Did that go well?
It did go well.
All right.
Well.
Deuces.
We also had our monthly board game day on Saturday, so we had a lot of board game players out. Just a reminder, the tabletop day is also coming out. There's our board game people. We also had.
What else is going on?
This is not happy. So Friday, we had some shenanigans going on with some bunny ears.
Shenanigans on Friday with
figure.
Sam, Aaron, and Misael? No, I can't
It's a
imagine.
very somber crew on Friday nights.
Nothing crazy ever goes on here on Friday night.
Nope.
No.
And then we've got some of the Nerd Herd folks.
Jay is looking at you like,
Jay
do
was
not
like-
take a
He
picture
was
of
like,
me.
put that camera down.
Put it down. I'm going to spear you so hard.
Ah, so bad.
No, it's not.
All right, so I couldn't figure out how to actually crop this picture. So that is actually, we painted the floor.
Yeah,
So
it looks great.
It looks
Smells
really
awful.
Nice. Yeah, it still smells bad.
If you're coming to an event later in the week, smell should be gone.
Yep.
If you're stopping by, we closed 15 minutes ago, so it doesn't matter. It smells awful right now.
We also had, we were closed Sunday, so there's a picture of the store while it was closed.
Yeah. Happy Easter, by the way.
Yep.
Happy Zambi Day.
Happy Zambi Days.
Happy Zambi Days. Zambi Days are here in mine. Your Zambi Days.
Pretty good.
Put up the next image,
All right,
please.
next image. So we've got a thing coming up.
We've got a thing called the Dominaria pre-release.
We do.
And we're doing it with a little bit of a 90s flair.
So Magic came out in 93. So we are going back to 93 using the Four Horsemen time machine.
To the 90s.
The Wayback Machine.
This is going to be rad.
It's going to be so rad.
It's going to be so awesome.
I
So,
might have had hair in the 90s.
Yeah. So this is the new Magic the Gathering expansion. Pre-release is happening on the weekend of April 21st and 22nd.
Right.
What are some 90s flavored promotions that we have?
So some of the 90s stuff we're doing if you've anybody in the 90s played Star Fox. So we're going to be playing Star Fox all weekend. The leaderboard, do a barrel roll. The should have flipped the camera. So the top 8 of that leaderboard at the end of that weekend is going to get a free draft.
People are going to play Star Fox.
Play Star Fox.
And we're going to keep a record of their times.
Yep.
And the top 8 people who score on that will get a free draft on release.
On release week.
On release week of Dominaria.
Yep.
Yes.
We're also going to have some 90s themed food and drinks and snacks and things. Caleb has threatened to make a Nickelodeon slime cake. I've seen this. It looks terrible.
Yeah, those
looks
don't
so
look,
gross.
those don't look good.
It does
We
not
should
look
have a slime dunk tank. That'd be a lot of work.
There is actually, we found the formula to make that stuff, so we're thinking about sliming like the winners, like unsuspectingly. All
Maybe
over the cards.
Nicktoon marathon at the midnight.
Yeah,
At the
we're
midnight.
going to run some 90s movies, some
Oh, some
Nicktoons.
Space Jam. Love Space Jam. Yeah. You could come as Michael Jordan.
I probably could.
Yeah. All right,
What a Bugs Bunny.
let's keep going.
All right.
And you'll see the full event schedule there. Go to Facebook for more intel.
Yep.
We also have the International Tabletop Day coming
do.
up.
I can't get rid of. There it
Oh,
is.
yay! We are looking for volunteers to run games. That's going to be on Saturday, April the 28th, the following Saturday.
The following Saturday, yeah. So, big event. It is a international event. A lot of people coming out for these things. We have a full schedule. We've actually done some promo videos with some of the game runners. Did a sit down with Darius. We're going to be posting that here in a few days. We also talked with Will about the schedule. He actually ran through all of the games on the schedule. So,
Waiting!
different Will.
No.
But just as cool. All right. So.
Yes, and now we're going to be moving away from events, and we're going to move to my favorite segment.
My favorite segment.
And your favorite segment. This is slow week
It's a slow week in
Star Wars. There are going to be some solo sneakers. And by solo, that means you have to buy them separately.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're really reaching the bottom of the barrel for these. That's
No,
so low.
For start, these are real.
Yes.
You can buy them.
Yes.
They have not come out yet. For people with a less discerning eye, can you tell us what that design is?
That design is the little red pips on the side of his pant legs.
On the side of Han Solo's pant legs. That is completely correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that these shoes are the fastest shoes in the galaxy. You can do a 5K in about 3.5 Ks.
That's how that works.
Yeah, that's how that works. So this has been a slow week in Star Wars.
All right, so coming up next, we got a top 10, like Ryan said at the top of the show. We're going to be dedicating this month to comics. So
yes, the theme of April is we want you to read comics.
All the comics.
So our giveaway tonight is a $25 gift card that you can use on comic books.
Yay!
And to get that, all you have to do is to be the first person in our Facebook chat to guess either what our number one comic book is or who is the main character of our number one comic. If you know Ron and I, it shouldn't be too hard. So it is not Valerian. This is the top 10 comics for new comic readers. Ron, take us away with number 10.
We have The Watchmen, one of my favorite books. Love the movie, love the books. It is, on the surface, it is sort of a simple read, but there's a whole lot to it. There's just
simple, but it is dense.
It is very, very dense, and there's a lot of stuff happening, and it's like dropping down the rabbit hole, once you get into it.
No, that's Alice in Wonderland.
Which is also a good book.
Yeah. And at number 10, we have Superman, 9. The Red Sun. So I am not a Superman fan.
Yeah.
But I took this on a recommendation from Four Horsemen's own Mr. Lewis. Mm-hmm. And this is basically what if Superman had landed...
Half hour or something? It's like a half hour later?
Yeah. What if Superman had launched like a half hour later and landed in the USSR in Soviet Russia instead of the United States? And this is amazing. And you don't have to have read a lot of superhero comics or DC comics to understand what's going on here. If you've seen a couple movies and you know who the characters are and what they're about and what their basic stories are, because this doesn't just involve Superman. It's also like a what if Batman is also in this environment, and Green Lantern as well, and Wonder Woman, and it's just
how they all interact.
Yeah, it's just this really cool alternative history to a fake history. But it's about as good as Superman gets, in my opinion. Yeah. And it's one story inside of one volume. You don't have to read 1,000 issues to understand everything.
I have not read it. I know the general premise. Love the idea, though.
Yeah, it's really great. And speaking of history, number 8, we have X-Men Magneto Testament. So if you've seen the movies, you know that Magneto is of Jewish descent, and his family was killed in a Nazi concentration camp. Right. And this is the story of Eric Klinger as a boy in the concentration camps. Beware, this is heavy stuff.
Right.
But it's a brilliant read. This is something I recommend to people who don't even like comic books. Mm-hmm. It's got a lot of history. It's got beautiful art. It's one of my favorite cover arts.
The cover is amazing.
Yeah, it's black and white except for just that little bit of red. Just like Schindler's List. Him against the fence, and then the helmet in the background, like it's his future looming over him. Yep. It's a great book. It's one volume, one single volume. I like it. Speaking of one volume Marvel treasures, we've got Thor and Loki Blood Brothers. This is an alternative story from Marvel Knights. It's the what if Loki defeated Thor and became the king of Asgard, or as I like to call it, what we all wanted all along. I
always root for Loki. Every time.
Tom Hiddleston is just like who
would not bow to Tom Hiddleston?
And nothing again. Chris Hemsworth is great, and his Thor is wonderful. Right. But Loki's
where it's at.
You got to read this
the
book.
Ridiculous horns. I'm not into the horns.
I think in the movies they do it well. It looks good. Yeah. They're more ridiculous in the comic book, but that's because it's a comic book.
It's a comic.
Yeah.
All right, number 6.
Number 6 we have. This comic is kick-ass.
I'm gonna hit you, girl.
If you've seen the Kick-Ass movies, don't judge the comics by them.
Yeah.
The movies, the first movie is really good.
Yeah.
But it's one of those where, like, I saw the movie, I was like, this is great. I'm going to read the comic. And I was like, maybe the movie wasn't quite as good. Because this book is deep. It has a lot of awesome themes. It's talking about regular people doing extraordinary things. Dave Lazuski is like one of my personal heroes, and they're brutal. Like these comics,
very, very graphic.
they are hardcore.
Yeah.
If you never read anything by Mark Miller, he is.
Oh, yeah.
He knows how to make you cringe.
Yeah, there's a lot of cringy moments.
But they're
Good cringy.
Yeah, they're wonderful. Wonderful.
Speaking of wonderful.
Fables.
All right, so I had not really read this series until you had talked me into playing
The Wolf Among Us
Among
from
Us.
Telltale Games.
Yes. Oh,
But
baby.
this is the story of fairy tale characters living in exile in New York City, posing as humans, and kind of sounds like a soap opera. The drama behind their lives.
There's a lot of drama.
But I mean, that's what it is, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And you know, this is one of those comics that's like, you know, not everything has to be about superheroes. There are a lot of wonderful comics that have absolutely nothing to do with
fantastic stories.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. Bill Willingham, great book.
Yeah.
And right back into superheroes. We have Wolverine, Old Man Logan.
Logan.
What can you say about this book?
Holy cow! So it's set in the future. It takes place after pretty much everybody's dead.
Yeah. So all of the Marvel villains decide to band together and kill all the supers.
Right.
And essentially, like, all of the big superheroes are dead. And the Marvel villains have carved up the United States, and like Red Skull controls this half, and Doctor Doom controls this half, and Wolverine has somehow escaped all this and is living, out in the country as a farmer with a family. And Hawkeye comes to see him one day and kind of drags him back into all of it. And this book is awesome.
It is, from the moment this thing starts until the very end, I was on the edge of my seat. I could not believe where the story went.
Yeah, it's super violent, super
Yeah.
great, like redneck Hulks.
Oh yeah.
If
Redneck
you've
Hulks.
never seen a Hulk trailer park,
Yeah.
I mean, and this is coming from somebody who lives in a trailer. Like it's great. It's all in one volume, easy to read, super fun.
All right, something that is not in one volume.
No,
Just keep
not
cranking
quite.
these things out.
The Walking Dead. There's probably no comic book out there that's brought more people into comics.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it doesn't hurt when the television adaptation of your comic book is the highest rated cable program of all time.
Yep.
But there's this thing about The Walking Dead where there's this group of people who are like the biggest fans, and they're complete fanboys and fangirls, and they love it. And then there's this other group of people who are just kind of, it's cool to hate The Walking Dead because it's so popular. And when I talk to those people, I'm like, that's cool, man. That's totally fine.
I get it.
You can hate the show if you want to, but read this comic.
Yeah, just read the book.
It's such a concise and deep telling of the story. It's brilliant. You really just got to try it.
There's a reason that it got picked up to be a TV show.
Yeah.
And the comic shows that.
Number two,
How
Star
could there not be a
Wars.
top 10 comic without a Star Wars title?
Yeah, and
These.
so this is two different Darth Vader series. There was a Marvel Darth Vader in 2015, which ended and then got rebooted in 2017. And these are just everything that makes Star Wars comics really cool.
Right.
The first one tells about Vader's journey in between A New Hope and Empire, and then the second one picks up right at the end of episode 3 when he doesn't even have a lightsaber and he's just had the armor put on, and Palpatine's like, go, kill the Jedi, kill the Jedi. It's just, I could just rant and rave.
It is the Vader that I wanted as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, the movies, he was scary, but he was just scary because he was just so creepy. Here, he's
This is him jumping all over the place, taking heads off, grabbing people and using them as shields for blaster fire, and a lot like, okay, so that scene from Rogue One.
Yeah.
This is the comic version of this, basically.
Yeah. Ongoing issue.
And number one, this last chance to guess to win that $25 gift card. We will be checking the comments and the timestamps when we go off the air to see who gets that. Number one is Wolverine by Chris Claremont and Frank Miller.
Yes, absolutely. So this series, the first 4-issue run of Wolverine, was probably the comic that got me hooked into comics.
It is the comic that got me into American comics. I haven't been reading manga since I was like 10. and I read this in college, and this is what got me into Marvel, into X-Men, like locked in, like I'm a comic fan.
Yeah.
It's just 4 issues, like you said, and this is the story about Wolverine going to Japan and kind of dealing with figures from his past. It is what the second Wolverine movie, The Wolverine, is based off of. But it's a lot different from that. If you didn't like that movie, please still
read the book.
Yeah, still read this.
I'm the best at what I do. What I do isn't very nice.
No, it's the ultimate Wolverine story where it's just him brooding and killing ninjas.
Oh, yeah. Which is the best.
So many dead ninjas. All right, so that is our top 10 comics for new readers.
All right, so we got a movie that we want to go see.
A Quiet Place. If you haven't seen the trailer for this, Google it as soon as the show is over. Not now. When the show's over. It's a horror movie, and we don't bring up horror movies a lot.
Yeah.
But this one looks really cool. It's like this alternative history or future where like some post-apocalyptic type world has happened, and there are these things that hunt humans, but they hunt by sound.
By sound. If you make a noise, they find out where you are, and they come and do very bad things.
Very bad things to you. They make you watch Valerian. They pin you to the chair. They open your eyes wide and like, what are you doing?
I was waiting for you to say the word Valerian.
I didn't know that was there. We can't go an episode without mentioning Valerian. Dane DeHaan. Cara
whatever.
Our favorite movie.
We talk about it enough.
All the time. Check out the trailer for this movie. It looks really cool. Yeah. I'm going to be seeing it. We'll give you like a little mini review next week. Yeah.
Check it out.
You see Ready Player One?
Not yet. No spoilers.
Neither. I haven't seen it either.
So I talked to a couple people and I try to steer away from spoilers, but they said there is so much packed into this movie that it's one of those movies you're going to have to see multiple times just to pick up on the.
I hate seeing movies more than once.
I know, it breaks my heart.
So hopefully my new review on Ready Player One and A Quiet Place next week.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Let's set a goal. Let's set a personal goal for ourselves. We're going to see both of these movies by next Tuesday.
All right, that's a good goal.
Personal goal.
That is a good goal.
All right.
Speaking of seeing movies.
Moving on to the countdown to infinity. We are at week 13, Doctor Strange, which is another one that was kind of like Guardians and Ant-Man, where you're like, I'm not really sure how this is going to go.
And it was really good.
It was great.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I honestly did not know that much about Doctor Strange other than he was, the Sorcerer Supreme. But
I had seen the animated feature film, Doctor Strange, which is basically the same story as the movie. It's his origin story. And I had seen that years ago, so I knew a little bit about his character. And he's made some appearance in some X-Men comics and some Avengers comics that I've read, so I knew a little bit about him. But yeah, this movie was just... It's one that I talked to a lot of people about, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I've seen all the Marvel movies." No, I haven't seen Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Really?
You gotta see that one.
You really need to watch it because it's really great." Yeah. That and Ant-Man, watch them both.
Yes, yes. How could you not see Ant-Man?
Oh yeah, and Benedict Cumberbatch is just quickly becoming one of my favorite actors.
I think you said his name wrong now.
Benedict
Benadryl
Cumberbatch.
Cucumber.
Benedict Cumberbatch. He does a. I wish I could remember it, but I saw this video where one of his warm-ups before he starts a scene is his name. Yeah, it's like Benedict Cumberbatch went picking in a pumpkin patch. It's something like that. It's really funny.
That is great.
But I mean, you have to enunciate his name a lot.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Say it.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh. Yeah.
Is there a B in his name? Cumberbatch?
Cumberpatch.
All right.
Well, it's like a patch that's cumbersome. It's a cumber patch.
Like his name.
It's a patch where you grow cumbers. They're cucumbers with the Q's missing. Yeah.
Q's.
Yeah.
So, mailbag?
Yeah, the Four Horsemen mailbag. We had a viewer submitted question. What's your favorite day of the week at the store? Meaning, we've got Mondays where there's basically nothing going on.
Yeah. Nice and quiet.
Which is in the running. Tuesdays is the days that we're processing new comics.
Oh, it's like Christmas. There's so many boxes. And there's
it's also the day we do the show.
Yes.
Wednesdays is new comic days.
Comics.
Plus, it's one of our busier event nights. We've got D&D Encounters, Magic, HeroClix.
Yeah.
Thursday nights, we've got Commander nights and all.
Some X-Wing once in a while.
Yeah. Friday night
is everything.
It's the nightmare night.
It's like the Great Convergence.
The Convergence. We've got to stop the Dark Elves. Saturdays can be the craziest.
Yeah.
Or just on some Saturdays, it's just
like
eerily quiet.
Yeah.
And then there's
Sundays.
Always people on Sunday.
Yeah, Sundays is just getting just as busy as Saturdays.
So I have an answer.
All right.
What's your answer?
Honestly, I like it when it is like absolute insanity. I may not look like it, but I like just mass chaos.
I like Tuesdays.
Tuesdays?
I like Tuesdays because processing comics is my actual favorite job to do in the store.
Really?
I just love seeing all the new comics and laying them out and organizing them. So if you don't know me, I'm a bit of a control freak, and which drove me up the wall when I started working here, because there are very few things in the store that you can control.
That's true.
But when you process the comics, it's like, this is the A's, this is the B's.
There's so much pressure.
No,
so much pressure.
I do a good job.
You did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I feel like super in control. Like everything's so organized. Plus, you get to see the new comics.
Yeah.
And when Ron's not looking, I read them, put them up on the wall, make them look nice, and also I get to do the show.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
It's more fun when Alex isn't here.
Yeah.
No.
We miss you, Alex.
No.
We got you a poster.
Yeah. Hilarious.
It's for you, buddy.
Why are we pretending like he's going to watch this?
He's not watching this.
Yeah. So we got, Did You Know? 4 Horsemen?
Yes. What is our Did You Know?
You scrolled past it.
I certainly did.
Yeah.
So we have taken some suggestions from the community. We're expanding our live feature area match, so where we can have now 2 streaming matches at the same time, 2 Magic, 2 Pokemon, some Dice Masters. We can also start streaming large-scale events like the Warhammer games, War Machine, just about anything. So the build bar has taken off. A lot of people building. It's turned out really well. Lots of lights. Very cool.
And we also have a sale.
We do have a sale.
Yes, if you start a new subscription this week, mention the show at the counter. You will get 25% off your first 3 issues. Awesome. Yes, the theme of April. Read comics.
Read all the comics.
This is going to culminate with Free Comic Book Day, first Saturday in May.
Oh my gosh!
So we're going to be talking about comics all through April up to Free Comic Book Day.
Wait, is it 4th or the 5th?
It's
The 5th.
May the 5th. Yeah,
May the 5th. Right after May the 4th.
So Star Wars Day is that Friday, and then Free Comic Book Day.
It's right the day after.
Yeah, and this is a week after Avengers: Infinity War has been released.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 weeks before Deadpool, and 3 weeks before Han Solo.
Yep. Another galactic convergence. Here it comes.
Yes. All right, so we're going to move into our social medias.
Social medias.
But don't stay away. Don't go away. We've got a post-credit scene. Please sit through these credits. And please like us at facebook.com/4horsemencomics. Follow us on Instagram at 4horsemencomics. Watch all of our YouTube content at youtube.com/c/4horsemencomicsgaming. Follow all the tweets. At the number 4 Horsemen Comics. Watch all our streaming content at twitch.tv/4horsemencomics. And shop our TCG inventory at shop.4horsemencomics.com. And make sure to check out the 4 Horsemen tender, which is being set up for next week. Please swipe right at 4 Horsemen.
Is that really a thing?
No.
That needs to be a thing.
No. Okay, so we rolled last week. Mr. James Brown chose a scene from The Departed, the Cranberry Juice scene, which we cannot do on the show, and went through The Departed. No scene of note from The Departed can we possibly do on this show.
It's a great movie. It is a fantastic movie.
So, a real famous magazine just did a photo shoot with 2 of our favorite guys.
Bill S. Preston.
Yeah.
Ted Theodore Logan.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to read some Bill and Ted quotes. Okay. I'm going to be Bill.
All right.
Bill S. Preston.
I'll be dead.
Esquire.
Ted Theodore Logan.
Excellent. So we're just going to kind of go through down the IMDb page and just read a couple of them.
Actually, this is one of my favorite quotes from all the movies.
Okay, go ahead.
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
It is indeed a pleasure to introduce you to a gentleman we picked up in medieval Mongolia in the year 1269.
Please welcome the very excellent barbarian,
Mr. Genghis Khan!
This is a dude who 700 years ago totally ravaged China, and who we're told 2 hours ago totally ravaged Oshman Sporting Goods. You gotta read this one.
You killed Ted, you medieval dickweed!
Now your dad's going for it in your own room.
Shut up, Ted.
Stepmom is cute though.
Shut up, Ted!
Remember when I asked her to the prom?
Shut up, Ted! So, Kratz, the only true wisdom consists in knowing that you know nothing.
That's us, dude.
You ditched Napoleon!
Deacon, do you realize you just stranded one of your greatest leaders in San Dimas?
He was a dick.
I was.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, wait. If you guys really are us, what number are we thinking of?
69 dudes! Whoa!
Quadruple air guitar. How many more of these we got?
Let's do... Yeah, let's do the George Washington one.
Where's George?
Right there. The top one right
All
there.
right.
Okay, Ted. George Washington. 1. The father of our country.
2. Born on President's Day.
3. The dollar bill guy.
Bill, you ever made a mushroom out of his head? It's just like...
Ted. Alaska.
Okay. He had wooden teeth. Chased Moby Dick.
That's Captain Ahab, dude.
Totally.
I want to watch Bill and Ted now.
Can't wait.